Hey guys, I am live. This is out of the ordinary for me, I realise. Just felt like going live. I felt like doing readings, just doing random free tarot readings, just because I'm in the mood to. So I thought I'd go live. You can see that I've got Justin in the chat saying, "What the hell is this?" I'm interrupting his evening Golden Girls reruns marathon where he wears fuzzy slippers. Well, Justin, you are more than welcome to wear all the fuzzy slippers that you want during my lives. You can even wear a big pink fuzzy dressing gown if you want to, mate. I do not judge. Got lovely Jackie Jacaranda. Hi Jackie, how are you doing this Saturday evening? I'm not cutting through anyone else's live, by the way, am I? Is there anyone else who was planning on going live? Because if there is, then I can just cut this. I did check YouTube. I checked to make sure there wasn't anything scheduled for tonight. But if there's someone who would normally be live right now, then do let me know. Um, Gerald, hi. Yeah, surprise. Just like I say, just felt like it. I was in the mood just to just to go live and just read some cards, to be honest with you. Um, Marine Bay Tarot. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Mermaid Bay Tarot. Hi, Becca from Texas. Well, it's lovely to have you here. How you doing? I think this might be the first time that I've had you in one of my lives. Is that right? Or were you on the round table um, the other night? Danielle, Tarot Trainees here. Hiya. Um, Neem's asking if I'm going to do some Lenormand readings. Neem, do you know what? See, if you want me to, I will, but with the caveat that I'm probably going to be shit at it, and you's going to help me out. I still actually have my Claire de Lune Lenormand here. In fact, that it wasn't showing up very well on the other night, so I might break out the Mendes Lenny. You're just messing with me. That's fine. But Neem, let it be known that I did say that if you wanted me to, I would. Let's see. Hi Diane, how you doing? Jackie, you know what? Oh, you admin for nearly everyone. That's because Jackie's the best admin on TarotTube. Let's see. Doing practice Lenormand spreads is a great way to learn. You're absolutely right, Gerald. It is. Hey Jen, how are you? Anyone's got a question, then pop it in. I'm just counting these cards to make sure they're all here in case you're wondering what I'm doing. Oh, apparently I've got 80 cards here. That can't be right. Means I've counted wrong. Seni news up. You can ask a question, Seni. Just fun. Fire it into the chat. I date Cartoonist Turkish man and marry him in the far future. 20. Just making sure all my cards are here. 3, 4, 5, 6. 20. Oh, 18. Right, we're good. We've got 78. We don't have two random tarot cards that have popped out of thin air. Oh. Right, let's see. Do one, probably zoomed in table, eh? So, will Seni date Kurtulus Turkish man and marry him in the far future? So we can have a nosy at your dating life and see what's coming up there, shall we? So I'm using a Carol Hertzer deck for those that are interested. A gift from a very kind friend. Right, let's see what's happening, Senny. Well, I mean, in answer to your question, there is some sort of celebration, there is some sort of achievement happening. There's also Chris's camera, which is way too zoomed in. I'm not going to be able to fit any more cards there. That's a bit better, isn't it? So you've got the Four of Wands. So the situation that we're looking at is some sort of celebration, some sort of achievement happening. So that's to me that's quite a positive response. There is maybe a need to stand your ground, but again, coming in at the end, we've got the Strength card. Um, See, to be honest with you, right? I mean, that this is kind of a telling you. Hang on, hang on. My face is covered up by a duck. Let's sort this situation out, shall we? Shall we move me over here beside the time? That's a bit better, isn't it? So in answer to your question, you get your Four of Wands. That's basically a kind of a mini recipe for success or a recipe for mini success. It's telling you that you're going to get past that first hurdle. It's telling you the thing that you want to achieve, you're probably going to achieve it. But it's also saying that, the in answer to your question, probably you will, you know, get what you're looking for, but it's not the end game, and you need to remember that it's not the end game because you've got your Seven of Wands coming out there to remind you, that the four, just like that, this kind of celebration, that's not the be all and end all. The Strength and the Seven of Wands are kind of in a similar vein. They're portraying a similar message where it's telling you that you need to actually be happy and confident and content in yourself. Okay. Um, so I don't want to come across as being judgy here because it's really not the way I mean it. But when you ask questions like, am I going to marry this person? Just remember that you're a fantastic individual yourself, okay? And remember to have confidence in yourself because at the end of the day, that's what's coming out. At the end of the day, that's what's going to kind of win the day, if that makes sense. Not the celebration, not the validation that we get from whatever's happening here. It's knowing yourself, being able to stand your ground and being confident in yourself. Okay, so hopefully that kind of answers your question and gives you a tad more. So I hope that was helpful, Senny. Let's see. I'm in top chat here. That's not very helpful, is it? Oh, doesn't matter. Do you know, I saw a name saying Hey Zena. I thought there was someone called Zena in the chat that I just wasn't seeing, but no, there isn't. So any other questions, then stick them in capitals or tag me so as I can see them. And whilst I'm waiting on that, I'm going to nosy in at what you're saying. So I've been inspired to start journaling, says Jackie. Don't know where to start, but my new notebook arrives tomorrow. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm not much of a journaler either, and I don't know if I really know where to start with it. But when I have done it, I've found it helpful to see my pools of the day. Um, I I journal about them. I stick them in my, like almost like a diary, um, and just write what I see, and then it means I can keep an eye on them and see how if they're if they're true to how my day's been, you know, or if they've let me navigate my day in some better way. Shivakshi, hello. What are Umang's current feelings for me? Let's have a wee look. So, Shivakshi, I just to let you know, like in terms of when I'm reading for questions for people, I try and steer away from what we would deem as third party readings. And a third party reading is basically where one person asks for you to read for someone else. Now, what I'm happy to do, so you like for example, your question, you said, what is someone's feelings for me? That is very heavily focused on the other person. And you might deem that a bit of a third party reading. What I am happy to do is have a look at the connection between you and that other person and just kind of a focus on the connection if you're okay with that. But I don't want to kind of hone in on this person who isn't here, if that's okay. I would rather kind of just look at the general connection between the two. And that way I don't feel I don't feel as though I'm prying into anybody's private business, you know. So I'll look at the connection between the two of you, and we'll see what the cards throw up. Hopefully that's all right. You're okay with that? Perfect. Right, let's have a wee look then. Got the King of Swords coming out as being the situation. There's a need to communicate. To be honest with you, there's a need to make clear both of your feelings. Because. And when I look at the connection, I see all of this air energy. The King of Swords is fantastic if you're wanting to learn new things, if you're wanting to solve really heady problems, you know, really kind of intellectual problems. But see, when it comes to relationships, the King of Swords can come off really, really cold. And that's because he's so laser focused on the truth of the matter and, you know, the science behind everything, and doesn't always have a lot of time for emotion. So I'm left feeling a wee bit cold when I look at the connection. And the advice for you is a six, and sixes are all about harmony. It's about give and take, coming and going. So there needs to be some sort of communication. So there does. I think that one or the other of you needs to kind of make it clear how you feel. If you take that out of it, you're left with these two swords cards. So if we don't make our feelings clear, if we don't take any advice, then we're left with two swords cards. You know, the last sword card and the start sword card. We're left with quite an air energy, quite a cold reading, and it doesn't make for a very promising relationship, if I'm totally honest with you. So this is absolutely key. So if you're sitting waiting for someone to contact you and to woo you and to make the first move and all that kind of a thing, then this is telling you, please don't do that. There needs to be some sort of balance here. There needs to be some come and go. So take a wee risk, you know, let this person know how you're feeling. The worst they can say is, no, I'm not interested, you know. But definitely that's the card that keeps. Now, if you can kind of take that on board, we've got an ace. Now, I did say it's a sword, but it's the Ace of Swords. It does talk about a new beginning, so there is possibility to open up these kind of a new avenues for you. But I think that there needs to be that kind of that communication. So that's what I would say. If you can take on board that advice, Shivakshi, then you know I think that's maybe the best route for you right now. Okay, so I hope that that's helpful for you. And I'm sorry that I didn't answer your question. You know, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm pointing over here, I've got the chat over here, so I do feel as though I'm pointing to you when I'm pointing over here, but really you're there. It's more helpful if I point there. I hope that was helpful nonetheless. Anyway, so I can see that I've got another lovely couple of questions. This is good. This is what I wanted. I just want to be slinging cards, to be honest with you. I was just in the mood for that kind of a live. Oh, these cards, it's really hard to shuffle them. They just fly everywhere. So I've got Danielle. I've been busting with ideas lately. Is there a direct I should focus on? Is there a direction I should focus on? Is that? So lots of creative ideas. Is there a direction that you should focus on? So let's have a look. Yeah. So bringing things into physical being is what I feel. Daniel, I see you. So do any of your ideas actually mean creating something that you can touch and feel, and actually creating something physical? Because that's what I want you to focus on. Um, your Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Earth, Earth being the kind of a material realm. And when I was shuffling, the Empress popped out as well, which is why I'm also saying that. Because the Empress is it's the archetype that brings things from a concept, from the kind of a spiritual world, if you want to call it that, into the world of physical existence. So I really see you creating something. So if one of your ideas, if that makes sense to one of your ideas, then that's where to focus your attention. Um, your Nine of Cups shows that it's something that you're connected to, which of course it's going to be. I mean, thanks very much. That was a bit obvious, Tarot. Thank you for that. Of course, if we're creating something and we've got all these passionate ideas flying about, then we're going to be connected to it. But I think the Nine of Cups is just a wee bit of a promise. It's saying, if you can stick to it, if you can approach it with that beginner's mind, if you can really kind of put in the work, and quite often your Page of Coin or Page of Pentacles is so he's not so much focused on the end game. He's not so much focused on, right, what am I going to get out of that? If I create this thing, what could I do? Well, I could sell this idea and I could make all these big bucks with it. That's not Page of Pentacles energy. Your Page of Pentacles energy is really kind of a enthusiastic, just about getting his hands dirty. He's enthusiastic, just about kind of a just about the process of creating something and the experience that you can gain from doing that. So yeah, I think that there's you're going to be able. Hang on, where was I going with that? Because I was talking about this and then I jumped back onto the Page of Pentacles. Anyway, like in the kind of a the future casting position or the future card, we see a king. Okay, so there's a promise there, because we're seeing you taking it from the new concept through to the fully fledged state, if you will. We have changed from an earthy element into a more watery element with these two cards. So there is that real kind of a pride in your work, that real connection to it. It's almost like you've it's your baby, you know. You care about it. It almost feels like it's an actual thing. You care about this project. But sorry, I'm yapping on. In answer to your question, if there's anything that involves creating something, then that's where to focus your attention, at least for now, and then see where the wind takes you. Um, been thinking, sigil. I have a direction for that. Yeah, thank you. Page is totally where I am. Cool, great. I'm glad. Right. Next was the lovely Henrietta. A general work reading, please. Deciding whether to return to work within the month or start fresh in the new year. Let's see what we throw up for you. Oops. Justice card just popped out, and so I've got a feeling that I'm going to get a really wishy-washy answer here. It's going to be one of these ones where it's like, well, you need to weigh up your options, and only you can know. But we'll see. We'll see what's happening. Oh, right, okay, right. Well, right away, the situation that we're getting is a new beginning. We've got the Ace, the Empress is popping out. So I was saying just there, your Empress is talking about bringing something into physical being. It is, in a way, a new beginning, but a very specific type of new beginning. It's actually getting up and getting going and starting with something new. I see a lot. There's a big energetic feel in the future card here. Quite often the knights are all about change. The element of fire in itself, and you know that I read the knights as fire, so this is like the fire of fire. There's like a lot of kind of a energetic, just like high energy levels in this card. And like I say, yeah, so we've got an ace, we've got the Ace of Swords, a new challenge, something new to think about, a new outlook in the situation. Your advice card is the Empress, okay? So make sure that you're doing something that really matters to you, okay, that you're really connected to. And yeah, coming up, I do see like kind of a big fluctuation for you, I think is probably the right word. Just make sure that whatever you're doing, it does serve a purpose, it does serve you, and you're not just doing it for the sake of doing it. Because quite often when the knight, when all of that fire, when all that energy kind of it can misfire, and you often find yourself chasing your tail a wee bit. So just take care that you don't kind of let that get out of control. Is what I would say there. But in general, I do see some sort of new beginning for you. So I hope that was helpful. So let's see. So you said that's what my cards keep telling me, so I thought I'd get a different opinion, right? Okay. Well, my cards are just, even in the bottom of the deck, look, we've got the Ten of Swords. Again, that's talking about the renewal of some sort of cycle, some sort of change. Ten of Swords is often saying, right, it's time to put things behind you and move on to something new. But anyway, that was the part of the reading. So next is entertainment, then Julian, then Taylor. Thanks very much, Jackie. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you doing that. Thanks. Entertainment high. What are T's feelings for me? Let's have a wee look. Again, entertainment. I'd kind of said this to the not to Jen, but the person I read for before Jen. Sometimes I tend to feel a wee bit uncomfortable about just blatant third party readings. What I mean by that is if you're asking me to read basically just for someone else. Now, because we're looking at the relationship between you and this person, T, I'm happy to hone in on the relationship, but I don't want to hone in on T. I don't want to hone in on someone who's just not here and not party to it, if that's okay. So what I'll do is we'll have a look at the connection between you and T, and we'll see what kind of information the cards throw up, if that's all right. Not trying to be awkward. I don't know. I just don't like to feel like I'm prying. That's all. So let's have a look at the connection between entertainment and T. Okay. Right, okay, so we've got the Seven of Cups coming up here. So Seven of Cups can sometimes be about choice, but quite often it's coming up when you need to kind of when your vision's clouded a wee bit, when you're not seeing the situation as you really should be. Sometimes it can be telling you you're under a wee bit of an illusion, to be honest with you, which I suppose is might be why you're asking the question. I mean, in your advice position, you've got the Empress. It's not the first time she's come out in that position tonight, but here, what I'm really feeling is nurture. The Empress is like that kind of that archetypal mother energy, almost, if you want to call it that. The Empress kind of nurtures the chaos. You know, she's the one that, like I was saying, she takes something from being just a concept into physical creation. And that's just me kind of speaking in parables, but what I'm actually meaning is you need to nurture the relationship. Okay. Right now it just feels as though there's a bit of a cloud over your eyes right now, and that needs to disperse. And the way you do that is by nurturing the relationship, by connecting with T. Okay, having those conversations, you know, going on dates and having conversations, sometimes having arguments and difficult conversations, because that is how we get to know people as well. Um, and sorry, I'm banging the microphone. But in the star card, the star, you know, the star is about guidance and healing and all that kind of a thing. But as well, the star, as you can see, she's completely naked. Okay, so she lays herself bare. So she does. She makes herself completely vulnerable. So again, it's all part of this kind of a having those conversations, nurturing that relationship. You might be left feeling a wee bit vulnerable when you do that, but that's what's going to be necessary in order to move yourself past this phase where you're just not seeing things clearly right now. So yeah, was there anything else I wanted to say? I mean, quite often the star will come up. The star, when we look at the story of the cards of the majors, comes after the tower. Okay, so quite often your star is coming up after shit's hit the fan a wee bit, and the star is needed in order to kind of bring about that healing. So if you do find yourself in that situation where things have been tough, then I'm sorry, but this is, you know, and I hope that you're doing okay just now. The star is a bit of a promise that, you know, things are going to get better. You know, there is something there that you can place your hope in. There is a light there that you can follow. There's light at the end of the tunnel, let's put it that way. Um, but like I say, it might require some difficult conversations. It will require you to nurture something that, and it's not always going to be easy. But there, you know, there is a bit of a promise of success as long as you can kind of commit yourself to doing those things. All righty. So I hope that that was helpful. And once again, I'm sorry if I'm not answering your questions exactly. Okay, okay. So entertainment, and then it was Julian. Let's see. So there was entertainment's question. Shivakshu says, thank you. You're very welcome, Shivakshu. I'm glad it's helpful. I can see Julian here, but Julian seems to have retracted their message on the YouTube chat. I can still get it on the StreamYard chat, but um, if you're not wanting to ask the question now, then that's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Taylor said, "Can I be added to the list?" You absolutely can, Taylor. You just need to pop your questions in, preferably in capitals, or tag me if you can, so that it pops out. You may well already have put your question in. There you are. What's coming towards me in love, please? Oops. You look at the Six of Cups just randomly popped out on the desk there. So you're maybe going to find someone coming into the situation that you've known in the past. Maybe an old crush. We'll see. Oops. So what is coming in love for Taylor? Yeah, there's definitely something new coming into the situation. I'm getting a lot of passion from that Ace of Wands there. Again, your Magician is another one, so it's another talking about, you know, new beginnings and something new coming in. Okay. we're going very kind of a 0 to 60 and 3.5 here, okay? Because we're going from your Ace of Wands, which is like kind of a concentrating on one element, and of all the elements, it's the fire element. So this is the kind of the passion. This is high energy. There's a lot happening when we see the Ace of Wands coming in, okay? There is something coming towards you, but the Magician is kind of a saying to you, you know, there's other things that you need to be concentrating on as well. Don't just like Taylor, you know yourself and you know the kind of person that you are. So if you know you're the kind of person that when a new relationship comes into your life, your entire focus is going to be taken by it, and you're going to be like hone right in on them. And there might be other areas of your life that are liable to maybe be a wee bit neglected. I feel as though what we're seeing here is, you know, just remember that you do have those other bits and bobs, okay? Because the Magician is kind of like all of the aces brought together. It's not just the Ace of Wands. We've got the Ace of Pentacles, Cups, and Swords as well there. So it's just, I feel as though he's just telling you, you know, remember you've got to balance all of these things. Don't just concentrate on that one thing, okay? So and then the strength card is coming in at the end, and the strength card for me is really kind of a going inward. It's about focusing on the self. It's about focusing on, you know, what makes you an awesome person, what brings about your confidence. It's Leo energy. So it is. So if you know anything about the zodiac, then you know your Leo energy is all about knowing your self worth, having confidence in yourself. Okay, so we do see this new beginning coming in hot and heavy. We see your Magician telling you he's the advisor, you know, he's the advice card. He's saying just remembering, kind of a keep your eye on everything, you know, don't let your job go to pot, or don't neglect your family, don't ignore them, you know, just remember and keep balance in all things. And then, you know, in the end, it's all about you, it's all about your self confidence. And yeah, just having that remembering to spend that time on yourself, and don't let yourself be defined by a relationship or by someone else at all. Um, you know, yeah, I think that's where I want to leave it. Um, you know, the an answer to your question, yeah, there is something coming in. There's something new coming in. Something very passionate. Um, the rest was just advice that the cards felt like they wanted to give you. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Oh, right. So Taylor. Let's see. Taylor. Right, okay, so that was where Jen had said the cards keep telling me. So I thought I'd get a different opinion. Jack had given me the list up to Taylor. I can then see that Ishi's said, can I get on the list, please? Of course you can, Ishi. Just pop your question in. There isn't really a list. Just pop your question in the chat. Um, do, 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 do. Okay, Sushma Sharma. When will I get the job? So a wee timing question. I will pull some cards and we'll see what happens for you, okay? Don't profess to be psychic or anything like that. And I'm not going to try and tell you, I'm not going to give you an exact date or an exact time or anything like that. What I can do is pull some cards and see, have we got a high energy situation where we feel as though things are moving fast and it's going to happen soon, or are things pretty stagnant and we don't really see it happening anytime soon? I can do that for you, and I hope that that'll be helpful. But I'll be honest, I'm not going to be able to give you like this is the exact time and place that it's going to happen. You know, I feel that the tarot doesn't really lend itself very well to timing. If I'm totally honest with you, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but you know, the tarot likes you to give it a topic and it will just go and talk your ears off. Um, as soon as you try and narrow it down to specifics, it tends to struggle a wee bit. Um, okay, so when will Sushma? Get the job. What do we see around that? Okay. Okay, so we've got the Six of Cups. The King of Pence and the Eight of Wands. So we've got quite an interesting balance of energies there, to be honest with you, because when we look at the king, like he basically maintains the earth element. So the king is sitting there making sure that everything is stable. Okay. Now you might look at that and think, well, that's a pretty slow. Like your earth element is what I would deem as your one of your slowest or your slowest element. You're kind of a Earth likes to be stable. You know, it's the earth beneath our feet. We like it to be stable. We don't really like it to be fast paced and fast moving. You know, we want to know that we're safe and stuff like that. And the king kind of maintains that safety. Now, with that said, albeit that's his job, the king is a fast thinker. You know, I like to think of him as being linked to the element of air. So there is a lot of fast movement going on up here. And let's not forget that, you know, the King of Pentacles is all about maintaining that coin. He's all about financial security, material security, as well as kind of a just generally. The reason he does that is because his overall, his bottom line is to make sure that we're safe and secure, um, in terms of the element of earth. So it does look after your financial security and stuff like that. And we've got the Eight of Wands coming in there, which is quite a fast-paced, fast-moving energy. So the way that I kind of the Six of Cups is an interesting one. So the Six of Cups quite often talks about, you know, it's about achieving emotional harmony. Um, so you're asking when you'll get the job. So that suggests to me that you're either in a job that you're not happy with right now or you're not in one. Okay. I think what the Six of Cups wants you to do is work on that, work on maybe the reason behind that. Um, Once you kind of do that self work, that's when things will start moving. Okay. That's when you'll see that security starting to come in. Okay. And when these Eight Wands are going to start flying. Now, with the Eight of Wands, the thing to be careful of is you can either be riding that energy, that can be you on one of these wands, that where, you know, everything's moving fast and moving for you in the right direction. But if you've got if you're kind of on the receiving end and you've got those Eight Wands flying at you all at once, it can be quite overwhelming. Okay, so we do want to be careful there that we're on the right end of that. And again, it's, you know, the way that you do that is heeding that advice of the king. You know, just kind of making sure that you're maintaining you know, the security, um, making sensible decisions. I mean, if you're kind of what would the King of Pentacles do? You know, he's forever the sensible person. You know, he's the kind of person that will tell you, oh, don't go and spend any money on that, whatever it is, that new pair of shoes, or, you know, don't go out and buy lots of drinks. Stay in and be sensible and save your money. You know, he's sensible to a point of almost being a bore. So that's kind of the advice that's coming in for you. Um, and through all of that, I know I'm not really answering your question because you've asked me about timing. Um, all in all, I would say based on kind of this card that things at some point are going to move quite quickly, but I don't know whether that's right now, you know, or whether that's you're going to have to wait a bit for things to pick up. Right in the kind of a here and now, I see things as being quite secure and not moving too much. But there is going to come a point when things are really going to start flying all over the place, and you're going to want to be ready for that. So right now, it's about kind of being prepared, being sensible, making those kind of sensible, almost boring decisions, so that you're ready for all of this kind of a high flying. Okay. So I think that's about as good as I'm going to be able to do with that. I hope that that was in some way helpful. And again, I'm sorry that I didn't manage to, you know, answer your question about timing quite literally. Okay, okay. So I see that I've got Mermaid Bay Tarot next. We said that was Becca from Texas. Wow, you've got the Six of Wands flying out at you there, Becca. Okay, so a wee general reading for you then. Oh, so King of Pentacles coming out again. Okay, so although we've got the same card as what came out in the previous reading, this is actually quite different because this is the situation card. This is where we are right now. Right now, things are very stable. Things are very much looked after. The advice for you is to enjoy it. Enjoy it whilst you've got that kind of a stability. Enjoy everything that you've worked hard for. You know, one of the things that Rachel Pollack points out about this card is what we don't always immediately appreciate is she's not just some kind of a kept person who's enjoying someone else's money. This person has worked damn hard for what they've achieved. You know, we can see she's holding, I don't know if it's a falcon or whatever it's meant to be, but it's some sort of bird. Now, that takes commitment, that takes time, that takes discipline. So it does, as well as, of course, it does to amass all this coin and achieve this stability that we see in our king here. So now is the time when you can enjoy that. So, you know, where you're seeing the positives in your life right now, Becca, I want you to enjoy them, okay? Don't be stingy with yourself, okay? Don't. Sometimes we can be stingy out of habit, you know. We've gone so long being like, oh no, you know, I don't really want to spend that money in that thing, even though I probably could afford it. I'm better just saving. Don't do that, because we need. It's good to be sensible, and it's good to kind of be sensible, especially with things like finances and our, you know, our material security. But we also need. We're human, and we need to enjoy ourselves, and we need to live. So just enjoy yourself. Coming up, we've got the Ace of Wands. Does anybody feel as though it's all the same cards that are coming out tonight? But we have this new beginning coming up for you, something new, something that you're going to feel really passionate about. It'll be like a new project, could even be some sort of new job. I don't know whether that's something that you're open to right now or whether that doesn't really apply to you. But the point is, it's something new that's going to light that fire in your belly, something new that you're going to be passionate about. And it's one of those things that's going to take up a lot of your time, but you'll be happy to spend a lot of your time doing it. So there is something new coming in for you. But for now, just focus on enjoying what you've worked hard for, is what I'm seeing there. So I hope that was helpful. Okay. Hi Luna, how you doing? Sure. Anyone who wants to be added, you don't need. There's no list or anything. You can just type your question in, and I'll get to it. Michelle's asking for a general for the next month. No worries at all. Let's see. Oh, okay. We'll get the Ace of Cups coming out then. So we've got the Ace of Cups and the Two of Wands, and flanking each side of the Emperor. Okay. Now, the Emperor is quite an interesting card to be in the middle of these two because the Emperor is all about kind of a reputation, stability, control, all of that kind of a thing. On one side of him, we see this new emotional energy coming in. Now this could be someone else coming into the situation who you're going to develop this new emotional connection with, or it could quite easily be talking about, you know, just connecting to yourself, you know, putting yourself first, and looking after yourself. focusing on a bit of self-care. Now, coming in at the end, we do have this, the Two of Wands, which can be a card about duality. If you subscribe to the Golden Dawn, astrological associations, then we've got Mars and Aries. Mars and Aries are two very kind of a dominating energies. And I think the key word is something like domination. So we do very much see two dueling energies in this card. So for that reason, I feel as though there's potentially going to be some sort of maybe new friend, new business partner, potentially new love interest coming into it for you. The Emperor is connected to the sign Aries as well. So Aries is probably going to be, if it's not someone who's got Aries quite prominent in their chart, then you're going to be looking at someone who embodies that Emperor Aries energy, very sure of themselves, very kind of I don't want to say controlling, but control is important to them. It's important that they feel like the aspects of their life are in control. And when they don't, when they feel like they're losing control of things, that can kind of stump them a wee bit. It can almost, at best, it can, turn them off from a situation. At worst, they can, that fiery temper can come out. Okay, but I'm saying that like it's all doom and gloom. I don't mean it that way. Fire and passion is a good thing in a relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic. We do kind of want to see that coming in. But obviously we just want to make sure that we're kind of we're not getting too carried away with that fire. Okay, we need to kind of balance out with some of the water, and the Ace of Cups would suggest that we do have the capacity to do that. There's a lot of water in that cup. It has the the potential of the entire element. So we do see that kind of a relationship side of it coming in there, that emotional side of it. We just need to make sure we're using that to balance out what we're seeing here. Okay, so to summarize, some sort of new connection is coming in, be it romantic or platonic, I'm not sure, but we are seeing some sort of connection, and it's something that you're going to be emotionally vested in. And we just want to make sure that we're balancing some of that, a lot of kind of Aries energy coming in there, and we just want to make sure we're balancing some of that fire with this kind of a water, which represents, your emotional self, your emotional capacity. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and you can let me know in the comments whether it resonates or not. Okie dokie. So, hi everyone, it's Michelle just tuning in. Hi Michelle. Can I please ask what is coming in my professional life? Not working now, but dreaming about a fresh new start. Thanks so much in advance, Elena. 161084. Is that Libra, Elena? I'm not an astrology person. My astrological knowledge isn't really all that great, but yeah, I think 16th of October is Libra, if I'm not mistaken. Oops. And by the way, if people are chit-chatting, then feel free to just talk amongst yourselves. Just make this a catch-up. I know that I'm not really, I'm not great at focusing on the chat right now. But yeah, feel free to chat away. And don't worry about me like kind of not catching your comments and stuff. So for Mila, we want to know what's coming in the professional life or dreaming of a new start. Oh, right, okay. I'm actually going to take that and I'm going to stick it on the table. That flew right out of the deck there. So it did. The Three of Wands kind of confirms what you're saying. Just to kind of my experience of the Three of Wands, it always comes up for me when it's time for a new start. But I've always found that I've had to really assert myself. This isn't a new start that's just going to kind of come to me, because if you kind of look at what's happening in the card, we see someone who's like kind of just standing it looks like on some sort of mountainside or hilltop, and watching what's happening with the ships out in the water, you know, and it almost feels like a card of longing. You know that old tale about the wife that's waiting for her husband to come home from sea and all that kind of a thing. I get those kind of a feels from this depiction. Okay, and I don't really feel as though that's what the essence of the card is, but that's the feeling that I get from the depiction, and I just take it as a bit of a warning against that. And I see that and I think, right, no, I'm not going to be that kind of a just kind of a waiting for things to happen. This is the three of fire. Okay, this is the growth number and the element of change and dynamic energy. This is telling me to get my hands dirty, get in there and get in amongst it. Okay, and if I can do that, then yeah, there is promise for for new experiences and everything, all of that kind of a thing. Um, anything everything that gives you purpose, there's promise of that if you can kind of get in and amongst it, get your hands dirty, like I said. So anyway, let's pull some cards for you. So we do see the Ten of Swords there, which again talks about new beginnings, like I was saying before. Ten of Swords kind of does focus on what's maybe been a bit of a rocky past. Maybe things have been quite difficult for you in the past. Um, and although the card does look quite bleak, to me it's an empowering card because it's saying that time is over and there's a new dawn kind of arising. So it's time to actually get up and move on. Put the past teaches us lessons, so it does. All of that hurt, each one of those 10 swords is a lesson that we've learned, and it might be something that's absolutely taking us out of the game at the time, but we can move on and learn from that, and it empowers us. Okay, so this is we see ourselves kind of moving on from a difficult past. And the advice, we do see Justice coming out. Justice being the Libra card, and you said you were 1610. I do think that that's Libra, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. So this is very much connecting to yourself, I think, connecting to your own strengths. But of course, Justice can be looking at, fairness, acting in a balanced way, and making sure that whatever decisions that you're making, that you're carefully weighing them up. And right, okay, so moving forward, we do have the Five of Cups coming up, so that's a bit of a shake up of your emotional world. Okay, quite often when we're in a bit of a status period, when we're in a bit of a period where we're not active in that particular realm. Here, of course, we're talking about a job. So if you're going through a period where you've not been working, and then all of a sudden there's this new beginning happening, it can be quite an emotional shake-up, which I think is what we see in the Five of Cups here. Okay, it can be quite a painful experience, to be honest with you, and I do see it's not all sunshines and rainbows, and lilies. And in the near future, that's not what I'm seeing here. What I'm seeing here is maybe some difficulties adapting. That there might be some emotional problems, and I don't want to kind of address it up and try and tell you that it's not, that's not what we're seeing here. There is a bit of a difficult time emotionally coming up for you, and that's, to be honest, it's probably due to kind of just the sheer shock to your system from this new start. Okay, but like I'd say, so there's a couple of things that I'll say here. For one, water is not the only tool in your belt. Okay, we talk about the four elements in tarot, maybe even five if you count spirit. Okay, so water isn't the only thing that you've got going for you. Okay, you might be going through a difficult time emotionally, but if we look at where we are, air-wise, if we look at where we are in our head, we've got the Justice card sitting front and center there. So that suggests that there's a lot of balance up in the head. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is it's not the be all and end all. Okay, it's just something that as time goes on, you're going to want to work on, and there is opportunity to do that because the Five of Cups isn't like the bitter end. You're only halfway through the suit. So there's an opportunity to achieve that balance, but I think you're just going to have to work at it. Okay. So I thought, in answer to your question, yeah, I do feel as though there's a new opportunity, provided that you do throw yourself into it and you're willing to do the work and you're not expecting to just kind of sit back with your feet up and for the opportunity to come to you. You are going to have to work on it. Yeah, and the future, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, unicorns with rainbows flying out their bums. It's that there is going to be some difficulty that you're going to have to work through. But justice, like I say, front and center is there telling you you've got the ability to do that. You just need to kind of make sure that you're empowered to do that. So yeah, bit of a ramble, but I hope that was helpful. I'm going to take a wee sip of tea. So that's us on just about the hour. So I think I'm going to answer the questions that are in the chat right now, but I think we'll maybe start thinking about calling it a day. I didn't plan on being live for hours and hours and hours. I just wanted to kind of come on for a wee bit and answer some questions. So if your question is in the chat right now, then I'll answer it. But if we can kind of in fact, what I'll do is I'll put a wee comment here. I'll just say more questions now. Thanks. Whoops. Thanks to everyone who has asked a question. And that way, there's just a wee message from me there, a wee end point, so as that I know when I get to it. So that was Milla's question. Milla, I hope that was helpful for you. Michelle, I think I got you, didn't I? Hey, Deanne, how you doing? So, Taylor, Michelle, Milla, and then Luna somewhere. I can only see Luna saying, okay, may I be added? I'm not actually seeing a question from Luna. Maybe it's further down here. Hi, Saoirse. Hope you're doing okay. I'm watching from a van in Glastonbury. Are you at the Glastonbury meetup, Saoirse? Because I know that Simon, Dan, and Sandra, and a bunch of people are all there just now. So I hope that you're having a great time. Right, okay. Sorry, missed it. Dynamic between Libra and I. Oh, you want to look at the dynamic between Libra and you, Luna? Right, okay, let's do that then. So dynamic between Libra and Luna. Okay. It's quite a defensive card coming up there for the kind of overall situation. I feel as though you've been through, you've not just met earlier on today. You've kind of been through something together already, and not all of it has been, sunshine and rainbows. We do see someone who appears quite war torn here, and they're taking quite a defensive stance. A lot of fire. We've got 3 wands cards. Wands, you've probably heard me saying if you've been here for a bit, wands is the element of fire, and that's all about, passion, dynamic energy, a lot of high energy in the wands cards. Okay. What I would say is, like I'd said, we do see this kind of a defensive card in the situation. Coming out at the outcome though, I do see some sort of victory, some sort of success. I do see happier times than what we're seeing here for the situation. The advice card for you is the Queen of Wands. Okay, so I'm going to say again, I'm going to say you need to nurture. Okay, you need to nurture the relationship. Sometimes it's about being able to take the heat. You know, the great thing about the Queen of Wands is she's not just linked to the element of fire, but also to the element of water, because all of the queens have this kind of watery base about them. And having that water supply, it sounds like I'm talking about sports now, but having that water in her actually lets her take the heat a lot better than what some of our fellow courts can. Okay, so what I'm saying here is that because you have this kind of an emotional center to you, you're able to take the heat of this high passion dynamic between you and Libra, but you're going to have to really draw on that. Okay, and you might find yourself being put on the spot, being the center of attention. These are, the Queen of Wands is like the celebrity of the tarot, so these are challenges that she'll quite often go through. All right. So you might find yourself being in that kind of a situation, but as long as you can draw on your natural ability, your natural emotional abilities, to kind of circumnavigate that situation, then things are looking good for you. Okay, so the dynamic might feel a bit difficult just now, but there is the potential to really heal that. But just make sure you're kind of nurturing it. Okay, having those conversations. Like I say, sometimes it's difficult conversations and they make us feel on the spot, but you've absolutely got what it takes to be able to do that. Okay. And, if this is a Libra that we're talking about, then, I mean, I don't want to just tar all Libras with the same brush, there'll be a lot more in this person's chart than just Libra, but balance is quite often an important balance and fairness. Okay. So as long as they feel as though they're being treated fairly, then, that's usually a good starter for 10. For anyone, I suppose, but particularly for someone who's got a lot of Libra in their chart. Okay, okay. So that was Luna. Xena, absolutely. Hopefully you've typed your question further down. I hope I'm not missing anybody, by the way. I'm sorry if I am. Thank you, Jen and Jackie. I really appreciate your help. Does Thomas have any plans on surprising me to come and see me? Thank you. Okay. So let me just kind of I don't think you were here earlier on when I was saying Xena, is that the right way to say your name, or is it just Xena? Um, in terms of third party readings, a third party reading for me is when you ask a question about someone else. And it's where I feel like I'm reading the cards for someone who isn't here, and I try and kind of stay away from doing that kind of a thing. But what I am happy to do, we just need to tweak the question slightly. So rather than saying, "Does Thomas have any plans?" why don't we say, "Are there any surprises coming up for you, for Xena?" In terms of Thomas showing up. We just need to tweak the question so that we're asking it from your point of view, and it's just so that I don't feel as though I'm prying into someone's business who isn't here asking me a question. So I hope that that's okay. I'm not trying to be awkward or anything. I just like to kind of keep myself right. So any surprises coming up for Xena in terms of a wee cheeky visit from Thomas? Okay. So see your pages in olden times were messengers. So quite often you would see them going from one kingdom to the other, representing their element, representing their kind of emblem. Okay. So they can be a symbol of someone traveling, of someone coming in. So the only caveat that I would add to that is we've got the Page of Pentacles here. We've got the Page of Earth. Of all the pages, he's the least likely to want to go out his way to be traveling to kingdoms afar. The Page of Pentacles likes to make sure that he's being quite sensible about his time and his resources. So he is the kind of person that would be willing to travel, but there needs to be kind of a something in it for that person. Um, okay. The advice in here, I mean, make it known what you want. Okay, so if you've made it clear to this person that you're looking for them to come and visit, or hey, like, you know, that you want there to be a meetup. If you've already made that abundantly clear and it doesn't seem to be happening, then the fool might be coming in to tell you, do you know what, it's time to take a dive off that. You know, it's time to kind of a go for a new beginning. Okay. Um, if, however, you haven't made it clear what you want, okay, so if Thomas has not a clue that you're wanting him to come and visit you, then maybe it's time to actually express your wishes. It's time to tell him how you feel. It's time to tell him what you want him to do. Because if he doesn't know, then he's, you know, he's completely in the dark, you know. Um, so doing that might make you feel vulnerable. Okay. You might feel as though you're putting yourself out there despite your kind of maybe some judgments, some of your better judgment. But I feel as though that's what's really going to be needed in order to kind of get that situation moving. Because, like I say, of all the pages, you know, your Page of Pentacles, Thomas is probably one of your more difficult people to actually get light that fire under his backside and get him up and moving. Um, so yeah, make sure that you're absolutely clear about what you want, and you know, take some risks. You know, don't be scared to put yourself out there. If it's something that's really worth it and you really want to fight for it, then go for it. All righty. And just to quickly finish up, the Nine of Cups, you know, we are quite high emotional energy there. That's quite a good card to come up when we're talking about, you know, when we're in the realm of relationships and stuff like that. So, I mean, we do have quite a positive reading here. But just like I say, I feel as though you're going to have to kind of put yourself out there a bit. Okay. I hope that was helpful, Zena. The colours of this deck really ping out from the black borders. And by the red and white whale. Lovely sound of running water. Oh, that's lovely, Saoirse. I hope that you're enjoying it. Ish, is that a question for me? Will there be a reconsideration? Hi Jamie, by the way, I've just seen you pop in, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path. Ishi, is that a question for me? This, will there be a reconsideration? Can you just let me know so that I know? I'm assuming it is because it's in all capitals. But you can let me know. I can see Danielle saying, wow, Chris must have stumbled into a new algorithm. Lots of new people here today. It's because I put free readings in on the tagline, on the title. That was the word I was looking for, the title. I was just in the mood for having lots of readings flying at me, to be honest. So I thought, why not? I'm going to just do a random pop-up live and do some readings. Yes, please, Chris, it's work related. Okay, perfect. So, will there be a reconsideration for the lovely Ishi? Okay, Three of Wands is coming out again. I mean, there is some sort of new beginning there, Ishi. I'll say it again though. I don't know if you were here earlier on when I was talking about this Three of Wands. My experience of the Three of Wands is, yeah, so we're talking about movement and action and growth in the realm of fire, in the realm of your job, you know, your passions, your purpose, your kind of the thing that you spend most of your day doing. We do see the potential for growth there, but quite often what the Three of Wands is saying is you need to actually be willing to put yourself out there. This isn't something where you're going to be able to kind of sit back, to stand on cliffside and wait for everything to come to you. You're actually going to have to get your hands dirty here. Okay. And we see that advice kind of echoed in the Fool. You know, the Fool is saying take some risks. You're going to have to kind of put yourself into a different situation. I mean, the Fool is he's taken a leap into a whole new world. Okay, so a reconsideration means we're looking for things to change. There's definitely the potential for that to happen, but I think that you're going to have to take an active part in that rather than just kind of waiting for the powers that be to decide to reconsider this thing. So if you've kind of done what you need to do, Ishi, so if this is something where you've had to apply to have something reconsidered, if you've kind of done all of that, you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's and you're waiting for the result, then I would say, yeah, definitely coming in with that new energy from the Fool. And coming up in the kind of a future casting position, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. So just in terms of a work situation, this is quite a positive place to be, I would say. So I know that I'm assuming a lot here, but I'm taking it that the reconsideration is in order to put you in this better position. And so that seems to be the direction that things are going in. But just kind of have that advice in the back of your mind about playing an active part in it. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that was meaningful for you. You can let me know how you found it, Ishi. Yeah. Let's see. I'm laughing at Jen's nickname for Jamie. Do I have any more questions? I knew the chat was going to jump there. Oh geez, there seems to Jackie's giving me a list of loads. So Ishi, and then I've got Daisy after Ishi. So I must be way behind. Apologies. Sorry, people. I'm just trying to find where I was. I think I was there. Hey Robin, I've just seen your question at the bottom. Your comment at the bottom. Yeah, this was just a wee random live. I decided I felt like answering some questions, so slinging some cards. So I just decided to go live. There's Ishi's question. So let's just move to the next one after the lovely Ishi. So the next one that I see is Jassy, is it Jasi? What is the future of my current love relationship with SS? Hey Jonathan, I can see you as well. Sorry, I'm not the best at keeping up with the chat today. So if I'm missing anyone, then apologies. Jassy, what is the future of my current love relationship with SS? Okay, let's have a wee look and see then. Okay, so things looking quite promising at the moment. I mean, it looks really good, to be honest with you. You've got your Four of Wands suggesting that the situation at the moment is coming to a point where things are stabilizing. We're getting that validation. The Four of Wands is about validation. It's about, some sort of celebration. It's kind of like if you're playing a game of, rounders or whatever, whatever the equivalent is where you are. It's kind of like getting to first base, and that it's good because it gives you something to celebrate, but also in the realm of like a relationship, it gives you a bit of validation that this is maybe that this is maybe a good match. This is maybe the kind of a person for you. So things are looking good there in the kind of current situation. We do have judgment coming up in the advice, and the judgment could be telling you, there's maybe some sort of awakening that's still to happen. There's maybe still, I don't know why my lighting is kind of a changing so much. I don't know if it's just because it's getting really dark outside, but I feel as though the lighting on the thing is really changing, which is weird. But anyway, sorry. So judgment, it can be saying that there's maybe some sort of awakening that's going to happen or that needs to happen. Okay, so not all of the cards are on the table at the moment. Okay, so there is still some stuff to learn. Okay, and it's the kind of a thing that it's going to make it or break it, right? It's going to be quite just quite important, I think, is basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, so there's still some stuff to happen that's quite important. There's still some certain truths that have to be learned. I feel as, I mean, you're only at where you are right now is at a 4. You're not at the end of the journey yet. Of course, there's still stuff to learn, but like I was kind of saying earlier on, lots of honest conversations. Just make sure that you're always being open and honest, and that you're kind of looking to get to know this person, and that that you're kind of keeping that connection going, keeping that fire going. Um, and as long as you do that, then you've got the sun coming in at your future, and the sun is all about happiness, contentment. It shows a really happy future for the two of you, as long as you can as long as you realize that where you are right now isn't like the end game. It's not the be all and end all. There is still all some work that needs to be done. There's still going to be stuff that you're still getting to know about this person. Okay. Um, but as long as you can kind of realize that and appreciate that, and you're still willing to grow and learn together, then there are happy times for you ahead, is the way that I would read this. Okay, okay. So I hope that was helpful. So that was Jassy or JC. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Amber, my ex and I talk daily. Does he still have feelings for me? Right, again, third-party readings don't really want to kind of go prying into someone else's feelings that isn't here asking the question. Excuse me. But what I am happy to do is have a look at the relationship between you in general and see if there's still, see what the energy is around that, see if there's still some sort of spark. So well, let me have a look and see for lovely Amber. Right, okay. Oh, Amber, I'll be totally honest with you. These cards, in terms, now, you guys might get on like a house on fire. It might actually be that you are better as friends and not as a couple. Okay, so let me just say that first and foremost. The cards that I've pulled are looking at the energy of the relationship between you two. Okay, as far as being in a relationship is concerned, as far as being a couple is concerned. I do see the current situation as the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands screams to me, you need to know when it's time to put those wands down. This person is, laboring with those wands. And there comes a time when you need to know when it's time to put the wands down, or when it's time to break that task down into smaller pieces and make it more manageable. But right now, you're trying to kind of keep that, you're trying to hang on to all of that fire energy. And what can quite often happen when you do that is you get burned. Okay, and you need to be really careful not to do that. Where the cards want you to focus your energy is your own kind of a stability, your own security. Okay, it's time to very much look after yourself. All right, so you probably heard me saying it to others that have been read before you. But concentrate on self-care, concentrate on the ground beneath your own 2 feet, concentrate on making sure that your world is safe and secure and that you've got everything that you need at the moment, okay? It's not a time to be focusing on making someone else happy or providing for someone else or anything like that. Now is a time to make sure that you and your immediate world are safe and secure. Um, Coming in the future there now, again, remember that I've looked at the relationship between the two of you. So the future card is the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is a very high mental energy card. Okay. Now, how that mental energy manifests depends on whether you're using it wisely or not. If you're using that high energy productively, then it can let you do amazing things. It can, if you know, quite often when the Nine of Swords, I don't know if I said wands there, this is the Nine of Swords. When the Nine of Swords comes up for me on a day when I'm working and I know I need to get loads and loads done, then I'm like, great, I need this. That's the high mental, intellectual energy that I need right now in order to get all my work done. In a relationship, it's not. I'll be honest, it's not the best. I'm left feeling a wee bit cold, and I feel as though there's a lot of kind of a quite anxious energy around the relationship coming up if you try and hold on to these wands any longer. So if you're going to try and hold on to something that you know is kind of it's done, then you might leave yourself feeling a bit put out. You might leave yourself feeling the um, not so great in a psychological way. So you just want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. That's where I think your focus needs to be right now. Now, like I'd said, you two might get on like a house on fire. You might, in terms of the friendship between the two of you, it might be absolutely brilliant and you might make great friends. But in terms of being a couple, in terms of a relationship here, I'm seeing that you need to kind of put that to one side for now. Maybe have a bit of a break, spend a bit of time apart, concentrate on yourself, making sure that you're okay. Because we don't want to end up with all of this misfiring high mental energy. It's not a happy place to be, if I'm totally honest with you. So I hope that that's helpful for you. And I'm sorry, I know that it's not like kind of a sunshine and rainbows and all that kind of a thing, but I need to be honest with you and tell you what I see. And yeah, what I see is that now is you time. It's time to focus on you. Okay. So Amber, that was for you. Um, just looking to see who's next. Oh, Mermaid, Becca says, hubby and I have been working our butts off for a long time. Makes sense. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad that it kind of resonated with you then. Um, Stephanie says, can I have a general reading for the month? Of course you can. Let me just scroll up here to, I know that Jackie's got a list for me somewhere. Where are you, Jackie? let me just take some time to say thank you to, the mods and anyone else who's been taking the time to help out, just letting people know to put questions in caps and all of that kind of a thing. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm not seeing. Oh, there we go. So we had Michelle, we got Mila, we got Luna, we got Zena. Actually, I didn't see Daisy, did I? Did I catch Daisy? Some let me know if I caught Daisy. Jassy, we've got Amber, Stephanie was next, and that's the general for the month. And then I've got Kiss, I've got Violet Moon, Carol, and Rebel Girl Queen. So I've got 5 more, potentially 6 if I've still to catch Daisy. If someone can let me know at the bottom whether 11 o'clock on the list. So I take it that means I did miss Daisy. See. Not seeing it there. I'm going to keep going. So I'm on Stephanie. Can I have a general reading for the month? Sorry for the pause, guys. I just wanted to kind of get my bearings. So a general reading for the month for Stephanie. Let's have a look and see what's coming up for you. Did have the 3 of Swords trying to flip round in the deck there whilst I was shuffling. Let's see. So we've got the Empress. Yeah, I'm feeling some difficulty, if I'm totally honest with you. There's a need to focus on what you've got. There might be this kind of a, let's just break it down and do this one step at a time. So the overall situation that we have is the Empress. Now, quite often the Empress is a card that's about abundance. It's a card that's about growth, it's about nurturing. Quite often when the Empress is coming up, times are good and you've got plenty, but it's kind of a modified here by this 5 of Pentacles, okay? The 5 of Pentacles is kind of close to being the opposite of that, to be honest with you. So there's this stark difference. So there's this feeling of, going from one extreme to the other, okay? And I think that what I want to say to you is just make sure that you're being sensible with your resources, because you don't know when it's going to be a rainy day. Just make sure that my gran always says to me, or always said to me, just always make sure you've got a wee bit of money put by in the bank for a rainy day. So make sure that you're being sensible about your resources. Now's maybe a good time to make sure that you've got some savings put aside, because this could basically just be that you're going to, maybe the car's going to break down and you're going to have to get something done to it. There's going to be an expense asked of you. So yeah, just make sure that you're in a position where if something does go wrong, you're going to be in the best position to deal with it, because there is a wee bit of difficulty coming in there for you, I'm afraid. Is how I would read this anyway. Coming out in the in the kind of a future casting position, we've got the Ace of Swords. So this is like this is maybe a problem that you're going to have to think differently about. You're maybe going to have to think outside the box, come up with an alternative solution. So some problems aren't best dealt with by tackling them head on. With some problems, we need to kind of find a different way to navigate the problem and solve it. Okay, it might actually require us to, learn something new, take a new mindset, take a beginner mindset where we kind of wipe our minds of everything that we think that we know and approach it, just as a newbie, as a beginner. and use that kind of a fresh perspective in order to see the way forward. Okay, but I mean, the major arcanum in this spread is the Empress. Okay, so it's all about the resource that you've got. I don't feel as though this is going to completely scupper you. I feel as though you do have the resources that you need in order to navigate this situation, but it's just going to take a wee bit of planning, and a wee bit of kind of a critical thinking, a wee bit of problem solving in order to kind of get yourself there. Okay. So yeah, just kind of a making sure that everything's in order. So is that if and hopefully this is the choices that are made in the near future, or the way that things happen around about you. Hopefully this doesn't come to pass, or it does and it's so minor that you don't even think about it. Hopefully that's the situation that we end up with. But if it doesn't, then or either way, just make sure that you're in a good position and that you're prepared to deal with things if they do go kind of slightly haywire. Okay. I hope that this was helpful. You can let me know if it resonates. So that was Stephanie. I think Kiss, JG, Gilpin, true feelings towards me. I'm a Taurus. He's a Cancer. So again, with the third party readings, with the reading for someone who's not here, what I would prefer to do is just kind of a hone in on the relationship between the two of you, because I do feel as though that's very much still focused on you. I don't want to focus on someone else's feelings that isn't here. I don't really feel comfortable doing that, so we'll focus on the relationship between you and Gilpin, if that's okay, Kiss, and we'll see what comes up. Okay. Oh, well, I can see some new beginnings coming in here. Definitely changed. There's definitely movement, and it's movement away from something. Things are a bit difficult at the moment, to be honest with you. I mean, all of these cards are cards about, a lot of change happening. Okay. This is Arcanum 13, which is all about change, and it's not always change that we're expecting. Quite often it's some outside force that's coming in and it's forcing this change upon the situation. So true feelings. So we were looking at the relationship between the two. So things are very much in flux. Things are very much changing. The advice here is to remove yourself from the situation and get yourself into a safer headspace. Now, what I would say is that it's up to you whether you think that that is just like you taking some time apart from Gilpin in order to kind of just get your thoughts together and see how you really feel about the situation, or is it that you and Gilpin need to take some time away together to really kind of build up that connection with each other and get to know each other? It really could be either or. We do see in the boat there are other figures here, so I don't see it as a move away alone. I don't see it as complete isolation. And can I just say, by the way, when I say a move away, I don't always mean a literal move away. I'm not saying you're moving to another country or another area. Maybe not a physical move, but just more of a psychological, an intellectual move. It's maybe just about spending some time in a different headspace, is what I mean. Maybe even kind of quite often this card comes up when we need to look at going to, some sort of counselling, seeking some sort of outside help. So maybe that's something to consider. The moon coming up in the future does suggest that, you might find yourself in kind of in the twilight zone a bit. You might find yourself in uncharted territory. And that's, to be honest, that's to be expected. When we have all of this dynamic energy and when we have all of this change coming in, it does throw us a bit. Okay. But the key with the moon card is to not try and control it. Don't try and turn it into what you know. You need to adapt in order to circumnavigate the situation. Don't expect the situation to change around you. Okay. So if we're kind of putting this into the context of a relationship between yourself and Gilpin, if you're approaching this and you're wanting the other person to change to suit you, you're maybe going to kind of keep banging your head against that brick wall. But if you can learn to adapt, okay, or if you can both learn to adapt together in order to navigate this kind of this this nighttime situation, and the moon is quite a deceptive light, when the moon is cast, the light that it casts, you don't always kind of see everything for what it is. Okay, so you quite often do find yourself having to be quite careful. Um, but if you can take that advice on board, my throat is going absolutely dry here. I'm going to need to take another drink. But if you can take that advice on board, if you can kind of learn to just adapt yourself to the situation, then that's how we find find our way forward. And remember that after the moon, the sun is always coming up. So you're kind of at the next card after the moon is that card of happiness and joy and all that kind of a thing. But right now, your way is kind of blocked by this moon energy. Okay. So it's all about how you're dealing with change, okay, and just the headspace that you're creating for yourself, in order to be in the best position that you can be. All righty. Um, so yeah, I hope that that was helpful. But I do, I've said that a couple of times tonight. I'm not seeing all sunshine and rainbows. There is some stuff to be worked on there. Okay. So that was Cass JG. Next one that I see is Carol. Carol M. Will my relationship with G get serious? What is between us? And I'm going to take a wee drink before I start, otherwise I'm not going to be able to speak by the end of this. Oh, hi Kimberly, just seen you coming in. So relationship between Carol and G. Oops. Oh, look what just popped round, the lovers. Let's leave them there actually. So fast paced, fast moving. Okay, there is the potential there for a really deep, meaningful relationship and connection. But there is a lot of kind of a fast moving energy there. So I suppose it's a question for yourself about whether you're going to be able to kind of roll with that energy, or is it going, sometimes it can kind of knock you off your kilter a wee bit. So let's see. We'll get the Two of Cups coming up. The Empress just wants to be the star of the night, I think. I think that I think there's real potential in this relationship between you and G, Carol. Your the cards that have flipped round are really positive anyway. There's this real kind of like I'd said, fast paced. I almost want to use the word masculine energy here, but trying not to overuse those terms. The Two of Cups is the situation. So right now, that's where you are at the moment. This is about getting to know each other. It's about maybe going on like kind of your first dates, having those kind of long walks together, having those big conversations where you just get to know each other. Sometimes it's about having those arguments and having those fights and having those difficult discussions, because they are just as important. They are how we get to know the other person, just as much as the big romantic times. And of course, there's the very physical element of the relationship. Now, we see the knight coming in there with his sword brandished. We see the lovers card. We see the Empress, and I've said earlier on in the night, that's a very kind of about bringing things into physical being. So I do see, and again, the King of Wands. I mean, can you get a card that's more about sexual energy and sexual tension? So I do see a big physical aspect of the relationship that's really, really good. And I hope that that's resonating. Um, and yeah, I mean, the King of Wands is a real. The good thing about the King of Wands is he knows when to sit down and he knows when he needs to get up and get moving and get his hands dirty. Okay, he's he's in charge of the Wands Kingdom, so he's like I say, he can get his hands dirty. He can get up and if things need to be shifted about, if he needs to inject some energy into a situation, he can. He's got his wand, he's got his fire energy there for that. But at the same time, he's a king. He has that real responsible air about him, and he knows how to maintain the stability of his kingdom. So he's a really kind of a good balanced chap, the King of Wands. And like I say, he has this real kind of a sexual passion, this real sexual energy about him that's really, really strong. Okay, so I'm getting real positive vibes from this. The only thing that I want to rehash is the fire energy, is the quick moving, the quickness of it. Now that might work for you, that might be absolutely brilliant, that might be what you're looking for, but just kind of make sure that things aren't moving too fast is all that I'll say, because they can get a wee bit overwhelming if they do. But I mean, we do see that energy stabilizing there with the king, so I don't think that it's anything to be overly concerned about. So I hope that that was helpful, Carol. Okay, so that was Carol. Okay, Rebel Girl Queen question. A message retracted. Um, retracted. Here we go. What are Cancer's current intentions with me? Okay. So again, kind of like what I was saying before, let's just look at the connection between the two of you rather than looking at what some third party's intentions are, if that's okay. But I'm sure we'll be able to kind of answer the question just by looking at the connection. So what is coming towards you from this person, this Cancer person? All right, okay. There seems to be this element of waiting at the moment. Not a lot is really happening. Things that don't really seem to be moving. We don't really see much happening in the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is kind of describes a time when we're waiting for the right time to move. Okay, so I mean, coming out at the end, we do see the Page of Cups, which is a much more kind of a emotional energy coming in, but we've got two pages here, so I'm not sure how I really feel about the staying power and the the maturity of the situation. It seems very much in its novel stages, and only time will tell whether it's actually got the ability to become something more. But right now, this person seems to be waiting for the right time. Is what I'm seeing here. We've got two Earth cards coming next to each other, so this person might be the type of person that doesn't, that they're quite difficult to get them actually moving. Quite indecisive, really wants to be careful and think through every potential eventuality before they'll actually commit themselves to a decision. And that can be quite a difficult situation to find yourself in. So just be wary of that. That might be what we're kind of seeing here. Um, like I say, the two pages does suggest that there's something coming towards you, and the fact that we've got the water page, the cup page coming out there suggests that there is the potential for this new connection to be formed. But like I say, just I'm not seeing any guarantees with regards to the maturity of the relationship and the staying power that it could possibly have. So just kind of approach everything with an open mind is what I would say. Okay. I hope that that is helpful. But that waiting card, they're waiting for something. So maybe you need to make the first move. And there's Violet Moon. I think that was the one that I felt was I missed. Oh no, that was Daisy. Yes, Violet Moon, Carol. Right, okay. So Violet Moon. I'm not sure about Daisy. Daisy, if you're still here, did I get you? Can anyone tell me if I read for Daisy? And has it just been that many readings that I've forgotten? Oops. BK Chris, such a shipper. I think we'll need a drink after this. I think I'll make myself a wee decaf tea, maybe. Oh, Daisy left, right? Okay, thank you, Jackie. So it looks as though Violet Moon is my last reading for the night, then, and then we'll call it a night. But we've been going for nearly 2 hours, so that's actually not bad, isn't it? So yeah, it's nearly midnight here now, so probably a cup of decaf tea. I think I'm getting up early in the morning to go see some friends. We're going to go meet in one of their gardens, and there's a lot of kids. All of my friends are firing out wains. Wains is kids. It's a Scottish word for kids. All my friends are firing out kids left, right, and centre just now. So I'm going to need my wits about me. So unfortunately, there won't be any alcoholic beverages tonight. But anyway, Violet Moon. Are there any job offers for me? No job at the moment. Let's see what's happening around the job situation for you. Right, there is definitely some change coming for you. I can't guarantee that it's going to be particularly pleasant, though. I do think that you're going to have to set yourself up for the change, Violet Moon, because the tower, you can either be the tower that's been struck down, or you can be the lightning that's causing the change. But the key behind the tower is it's about how stable your base is. You know, good foundations won't be affected by a single bolt of lightning. But if your tower's like, not worth the brick that it's built with, then the lightning is going to absolutely take it out of the game. So what's important for you right now is to just make sure that you're setting yourself up. So let's look at things in context. You're asking about whether there's a job offer coming. Maybe what this is saying is you need to kind of prepare yourself. Maybe that there's learning that you could be doing. Maybe there's some sort of online course. Maybe there's some sort of, open university, or maybe just some wee courses that will put you in a better position to deal with, you know, this monumental change that a job coming into your situation seems to be injecting. Now, with all that said, um, and in like the Two of Pentacles quite often comes up when we feel as though we're trying to juggle plates, or no, when we're spinning too many plates, you know. So there's a lot coming at you with these two cards, but if it's a kind of a no pain, no gain situation, because we do have the Six of Wands, which is like your victory card coming out at the end. There is a promise of success and there's a promise of achievement as long as you kind of set yourself up for it, and as long as you can kind of navigate this tricky tower moment. Then you've got your Six of Wands coming out at the end. Like I say, it does give you that kind of that hope that there's success ahead for you. You just need to kind of navigate the period that you're in and make sure, like I say, that you're setting yourself up. So I, some questions that I would fire back at you. Is there a particular job that you want? You know, have you got experience in some sort of, you know, field or something? Or is there something that you've got your heart set on? If there is, are you doing everything that you need to do to apply for jobs? And, you know, are you really putting the energy into it that you need in order to get the result out that you want? Because although this promising success, it's kind of the six is a card about harmony. It's kind of, you know, it links to the lovers. You know, it's kind of a very much a give and take energy, like I was saying before. So yeah, it's not a. I know I've said that a million times tonight, but I'm going to say it again. This isn't a situation where you're just going to be able to kind of sit back and expect things to fall in your lap. You are going to have to work for the new job, you know, the job offer that you're looking for. It might be through you know, expanding your knowledge, learning new things, going on courses and things like that. Or maybe it's about putting the work into like getting a really good CV together or resume if you're in America, you know, and getting those applications out there. But definitely putting in the work, really trying to be the lightning that's bringing the change in rather than the tower that's been affected by the change, if that makes sense. Um, So yeah, you've said I'm learning something new. Finished a relationship. Okay, well, you know, the tower could be speaking to that, and you're doing more artistic roles. Well, I hope that this has been helpful for you. That Six of Wands coming out at the end is a really positive sign. Um, and yeah, keep us updated. Fingers crossed that you can get a job sometime soon, and that it's a job that you'll be happy in and that you're looking for. Okay, everyone. Well, that concludes the readings for the night, I believe, because Daisy's left. So I hope that everyone's enjoyed this. Once again, can I please just say thank you to all of my mods that have been here, and everyone that's been kind of a chipping in and helping out with, you know, directing people to just put their questions in and put them in capitals and stuff like that. Particularly Jackie, I can see that you've been working like a wee trooper here. You know, you've been here being my wee cheerleader. I really, really appreciate it so much. So thank you so much, Jackie, and to everyone else who's been here. Um, and yeah, much love to all. Hope that everyone has an amazing rest of your Saturday, and an amazing day on Sunday tomorrow. Um, and yeah, have an amazing week. I shall speak to you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.